Welcome to the Tax Talk. My name is Oyinlola Saleh, and I'll be taking you through the next half an hour or thereabout. We focus on educating you on tax-related matters in Lagos State. If you stay with us, I guarantee that you will learn quite a bit. Let's begin today by going through the business news. When we get back, we'll take the big story.
This is business news. President Bola Tinubu has signed 4 new tax laws aimed at modernizing and streamlining the country's tax system. In the new tax law, the value-added tax rates remains at 7.5%, despite initial proposals to increase to 12.5%. Overview of the 4 new laws. Nigeria Tax Act consolidates various tax rules into a single simplified code, eliminating over 50 small overlapping taxes. This reduces complexity and duplication, making it easier for businesses to comply. Tax Administration Act establishes uniform rules for tax collection across federal, state, and local governments, ensuring consistency and reducing administrative conflicts. Nigeria Revenue Service Act replaces the Federal Inland Revenue Service with the independent Nigeria Revenue Service, aiming for greater efficiency and autonomy in tax administration. Joint Revenue Board Act enhances coordination between different government levels and introduces a tax ombudsman and tax appeal tribunal to handle disputes fairly. And that's it on Business News.
With business news done and dusted, we get to the meat of today's edition of the show. Personal income tax is an issue every single resident of Lagos State should be concerned with. If you work outside Lagos but live here, your personal income tax is expected to be remitted to the Lagos State Internal Revenue Service, LRS. Please take a listen as we bring you the big story.
This is the big story. In a city of over 20 million people, the engine of progress is powered not just by population and ambition, but by revenue. And in Lagos State, tax is no longer seen as a burden, but a tool for growth, fairness, and innovation. From ride-hailing startups to roadside artisans, everyone is encouraged to contribute to the Lagos economy. And the Lagos State Internal Revenue Service, LIRS, is on a mission to make sure that every taxable adult resident in Lagos State does just that. But how is Lagos State truly reforming the way people engage with tax? How have the reforms translated into real benefits for businesses, workers, and residents? Let's break it down. The deadline for filing annual personal income tax returns is March 31st every year. And one of the reforms by Lagos State Internal Revenue Service is making it easier for taxpayers to comply by turning tax into a conversation, not a confrontation.
The purpose of filing your returns is actually to tell the government that this is actually your income for the period. which was mandated by Nigerian Constitution, which mandates every adult who makes income to declare honestly to the authority their respective income so that they can pay what is due to the government in order to for wealth sharing and even taking care of services that government are established to do. Having said that, there are a number of reasons and platforms that have been created. The first one is when you look at the detailed guideline on LRS portal. When you go to lrs.net today, you see a very detailed plan which gives you step-by-step on the guide of how to file your returns, no ambiguity. If you have issue around calculator, creation of payer ID and all that. So which gives you an opportunity to file your returns. So you also look at multiple support platforms, where LRS and the states, LRS is championing it because LRS is saddled with the responsibility of collecting taxes from our people and on behalf of the government. So they've been able to put up their social media, various platforms and co. In fact, this tax talk is one of the platform created deliberately to educate our people so that we don't always hide under the fact that they are asking for too much from us as an individual. Filing of returns does not mean that you are due to pay. You can even file zero income. And when you file zero income, you should know that that means that you are not paying tax.
From detailed step-by-step guides on the LIRS website to live support via phone and email, taxpayers can accept help at every stage. But so far, tax reforms in Lagos State has been more than just paying taxes. It's about growing the economy and expanding the base. That was the focus at the Eco Revenue Plus Summit, where the state unveiled new strategies for unlocking untapped revenue and making taxation work for everyone.
Eco Summit was actually established to actually look at other revenue streams that we were not ordinarily looking at or paying critical attention to in the past. The summit touched on major 4 areas, and these are the property, which has to do with what's the process of how we apply, receive our titling process, which is very key. How do we unlock debt capital, where when you get registered on time, people can actually use that for subsequent investment. And what happened to those that lose their transactions or property to inadvertently to those that defraud or them one way or the other? How do you pay attention to the attention of government, which is very critical to your transactions between parties, being a government that should be between its citizens to ensure that they are not defrauded? So how do you protect that? So when you look at that property, you will see that there is a lot and improvement is going. So on that note, so Mr. Governor is setting up different intervention committee to ensure that all the processes are streamlined and people can sit at anywhere in the world and apply, get their document without further ado. Informal sector is also one of the key points from the Eco Revenue Summit. And what that means is that we are trying to differentiate using data to differentiate between those that are really informal, and those that are hiding under the formal, that are now hiding as the informal, pretending to be at the lower cadre of the pyramid. So we are looking at that, and we are also looking at energy. Energy in the coming days, we're going to have energy summit again in order to energize the environment. Where there is no power, no business activity. So we're also looking at that. We are one of the first, in fact, the first subnational that are having their own law after the federal government has given the bill to allow subnationals to have their own electricity law. So we have had that. We have constituted our board, and we are now looking at how to manage the environment so that electricity can be made available for our people, to mention but few. So these are areas where we really touched on at the summit, and we're bringing new things. But ultimately, we are not doing that to really put additional burden on our people, but rather see how we can expand the net in order to, because Lagos requires a lot of money to tackle the demand. We have less than 1,500 nationals or Nigerians that move from other states, that move to our state daily. So it put pressure on our infrastructure, it put pressure on our services, it put pressure on our schools. So we need to, and we're doing that, to proactively see how we can actually generate more money to be able to cater for the service that we have elected to do.
One of the standout goals is to broaden the tax base without increasing the tax burden. That means finding innovative ways to bring more people and businesses into the tax net through incentives, simplification, and technology. The summit also emphasized using public-private partnership to fund critical infrastructure and exploring new frontiers like the digital economy, energy, and waste-to-wealth solutions to drive inclusive development.
PPP is also one of the key components of the summit, which allows partnership with banks, a business environment, coming with new ideas so that we can have a win-win kind of situation as a state, because there are limitations. Some people, in a certain balance, you have there's no business of government in business. So our business is to actually create business environment. So where the business people now deals and make sure that that environment thrives. So we are not losing sight of working with our corporate bodies to ensure that the environment is conducive enough for them to be able to do their business. And that's why these exemptions, these considerations, ensuring that they are not stifled by multiple taxation, as it were. They are not, there is ease of doing business in environment. They can go into certain environment portal and see end-to-end what they need to do and how they need to relate with government without much stress.
For small businesses, Lagos State is rolling out the red carpet. Through the Lagos State Employment Trust Fund, the government is introducing bold tax incentives to help MSMEs grow and thrive. Together, these reforms mean more cash flow, more investment, and more jobs for Lagosians.
When you say MSMEs, that's a micro, small and medium enterprise, the small business owners that have tried over time to contribute their quota to the development of Lagos and Nigeria. So by extension, government being responsible for developing policies around development of business, securing lives and property, have through the initiative of Lagos State Trust Fund, that is Empowerment Trust Fund, has introduced several interventions in order to assist the MSMEs, and even through the recent reform, Lagos, in their own proactive way, have been able to align with what federal government is trying to do. And what do we mean by saying that? Lagos is actually looking at areas where, in alignment with the policy, So we have reviewed and we discovered that our SMEs are not going to be left behind. And I'll give an example. One of the areas that Lagos has been able to cover through that reform is exemption of some sort for companies that their turnover is less than 50 million per annum are actually exempted from paying corporate income tax. And then you also look at the zero-rated VAT where on certain exports. So, we have our MSMEs that deals in export. So there are also exemptions. And most importantly, where they have the challenge of multiple taxation. So the tax reform has been able to address largely by reducing number of taxes that is payable by corporate institution, MSMEs, SMEs alike, to single digits. And what does that mean? It means that the era of having multiple government agencies asking for more than one tax is not going to be over. And especially area of even misconception where the tiers of government are allowed and expected to collect one tax or the other or levies, which are hitherto misconstrued to be, burden on our people, and even some people that actually take advantage of that loose end to exploit our people. So the tax reforms in conjunction with Lagos State is trying to address the area. So in all, our MSMEs, apart from our interventions that we give regularly, monthly, quarterly, yearly, to those that are really building their business. So we are also closely looking and working with federal government to ensure that our MSMEs are not exposed to exploitation.
Another bold move is the digitization of tax systems through tools like e-tax for the formal sector, a Bile Hub for the informal sector, and the Lagos Revenue Portal. LIRS and the state government is giving everyone, no matter how small, a voice in the state's development.
Sometimes last year, Mr. Governor launched what we call Lagos Revenue Portal in order to respond to the yearnings of our people. What does that mean? This is all about people that want to pay tax or any form of revenue to the state. So what does the platform stand for? The platform allows payers to access their bill centrally, review it, and make payment without necessarily leaving the comfort of either their home or offices. So they are able to pay. So it means that multiple channels of payment is actually presented. Bills that are generated by the MDAs. Every MDAs have their own peculiar and system to generate and harmonize their bills. When these bills are generated at different points, so they are also harmonized and put under a platform of a payer. So when a payer sign up to his own portal or profile on Lagos Revenue Portal, is able to see all the bills that are generated by the relevant agencies, then he can make informed decisions either to pay or delay, because it also allows for part payment where the bills are actually not mandated to be paid in full. And also, you also have an opportunity where payers with mind to reverse their transaction. Maybe they intend to pay to agency A, but they mistakenly pay to agency B. They can actually use that platform without calling anybody to resolve that by asking for reversal. And all the bills, payment receipts that have been generated, have been issued to that payer, including remittance statement, meaning that all the payment that you have paid to Lagos State from maybe 2001 thereabout, you can also view them. It also gives opportunity to payer to create a profile. A lot of people, maybe by way of not knowing, pay to create a payer ID, to have a unique ID on the system that can be tracked and that can give them access to government services. They pay for it. So this gives them opportunity to create their own payer ID and identity that the government will use, so that when there are incentives, from government in terms of services, such payer can have. So LRP is a digital platform which allows for payers to seamlessly interact with the government without necessarily paying to either tout or those that are under the cover.
The use of NIN helps eliminate duplication and ensure everyone is properly accounted for. And the new Revenue Mobile Courts now provide swift resolution for tax-related disputes, especially for individuals and small businesses that can't afford drawn-out legal battles. Looking ahead, Lagos State is going even further.
We're trying to leverage advanced data analytics, to ensure that data identify evasion, predict revenue trends, and all that. Also, we're expanding automation to additional MDAs. Mr. Governor has approved that MDAs are monitored to ensure that they are performing optimally in order to serve the people. So serving the people is key, rather than the people and our citizens are king. So, and we must treat them as such. So there's a continuous effort to ensure that we promote enhanced system efficiency and that of transparency across board, so that nobody is left behind and nobody is actually shortchanged.
Lagos State is not just collecting taxes, it is creating a culture, one that values contribution, rewards transparency, and builds a future where both government and citizens thrive.
We'll go on a break for now, but when we return, we'll do so with Tax Did It. Stay with us. You're still watching The Tax Talk, the weekly show that helps you stay abreast of the world of taxation with specific focus on Lagos State. Quick reminder that you can catch the online handles and website of the LRS on screen throughout the duration of the show. You can also follow our online handles and YouTube channels. And that would be awesome. Next up is Tax Did It, where we bring you projects executed by the Lagos State government using your taxes. Let's go. If you're just tuning in, I'm afraid you've missed the whole show. However, if you subscribe to our YouTube channel, you can catch everything you missed. We'll be back next week, same time, same station. So be sure to keep a date with us. My name is Oyinlola Sale. Enjoy the rest of your day.